You know, anxiety makes us do a lot of things unconsciously on a daily basis. Next thing you know, we believe that we are these actions, these behaviors. We believe that we are these thought patterns. We believe that we are the words coming out of our mouth. Today, I want to dive deep into what anxiety really makes you do. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a key mindset that you need to adopt to begin putting anxiety behind you for good. Let's go. My friends, welcome to another important video on my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please do that now. Hit the bell for all the notifications. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, head over here. And we're going to dive deep into what anxiety makes you do, because so much of our lives are unconsciously driven, meaning we don't really know what it is we are doing, saying, thinking. A lot of those things have become automated. We tend to believe that we are anxiety, we are worry, we are the diagnosis, we are the label that others have given to us, along with the label that we have given to us. So as I outline some of these things that anxiety makes you do, I want you to tap into that light bulb moment above you and say, you know what? This doesn't have anything to do with who I truly am deep down. These are all under the same umbrella of anxiety. And we are going to dive deep into this right now. Number one is anxiety makes you rush. The moment you wake up in the morning, it's very predictable that you will start brainstorming what you need to do for the anxiety. Is it best to do breathing practices, mantra meditations, just a simple meditation? Do I go for a walk, this and that? So it's not so much a physical rush, but it's a push in terms of a mental rush. It makes you rush in that way. It also makes you rush in your behaviors and your actions. You go to the toilet, you're going to the bathroom, and next thing you know, you're sitting in the toilet and you can't even be present in what you're doing. I know it's a weird example, but I've been there. And next thing you know, you're thinking about the next thing, and you're thinking about the next thing, and next thing you know, you're so far from being present in terms of what's taking place around you and what you're doing that you're always living in the future based on the patterns that you have unconsciously mastered from your past. So anxiety makes you rush. And the more often you can recognize this, the faster you can begin to transcend this ego-driven practice or pattern or habit, right? Awareness can go a long way towards our anxiety healing and our overall inner healing journey. Number two is anxiety makes you dread any future experience that may seem unfamiliar and potentially dangerous. You know that feeling you get within you where you're about to take on something new. And if it's not something new, maybe it's something that you haven't engaged in for a while. For example, a social gathering. The moment you accept the social gathering, you get this feeling of hesitation. And that hesitation, even though the social gathering is 5, 6, 7 days away, the anxiety can linger within you. Even though you're not thinking about this social gathering that's going to take place 7 days from now, your fight or flight response, your nervous system is already working to try to get you out of going to that social gathering. Because number one, it's an unfamiliar experience. And if it hasn't been practiced regularly, if it hasn't been something that's consistent in your life, and that could be a thought pattern, an environment, a specific person that you hang out with, whatever it is then the anxiety will be heightened as a protective measure that you don't go into that scary and potentially dangerous environment, right? So what's very important when it comes to this dread of any future experience that may feel unfamiliar is that you sit with it, you walk with it, you run with it, you shower with it, you eat with it. Because the more you try to escape it or distract from it, the stronger it's going to get, because fear is feeding fear. So what we want to do is we want to fully accept this, and we want to appreciate. We want to say, system, thank you for the protection. However, I choose to see the lighter sides of this new future experience that I'm about to go into. And therefore you can become aware and conscious, and you can begin to imagine how you want the experience to go consciously, rather than unconsciously continue to imagine the worst. Third thing that anxiety makes us do is it makes us believe that we are fragile in mind and body, right? And this is typical with health anxiety. Every little twinge, every little sensation, every little symptom makes us feel like something's going to physically go wrong in the next 10 or 15 seconds. So we're just talking about this fragile mind and body from the perspective of your unconscious mind or your lower self. Because as long as you stay fragile in mind and body, you won't take any more risks. And if you don't take any more risks, then there's a great chance that you may not feel the same feelings that you felt during childhood, the same traumas that you experienced in your emotional state. And so again, this is another protective measure by your unconscious mind to say, you know what? If he or she believes that they are capable of anything, an infinite part of the divine, then they're going to go into this risk and that risk, and we just cannot take that risk. So if you're going through this certain juncture in your life, this pattern where you feel very fragile in mind and body, understand that again, that is seeped within the protective measures of your anxiety disorder. And the most power that you can begin to create within you right now is to begin separating yourself from these unconscious protective measures, from the ego-centered prison. And when you start to look at it rather than be a part of it, right? And I always say the collective circus, right? The collective circus within. The collective circus is the circus going on in the mind, the circus in terms of the fluctuations in emotions, the circus in terms of the symptoms, the sensations, the images that play out in our minds. This is all part of the circus. You don't have to be a part of the act in relation to the circus. You can be the one witnessing the circus. And when you continue to witness these protective measures, you no longer identify with any of them. And as long as you continue to disidentify from those things, you will begin to naturally be brought to who you truly were and who you truly are within you. Fourth thing that anxiety makes us do is it turns worry into a necessary companion out of fear of the uncertain. This is unbelievable, right? Because next thing you know, worry is this safety companion. It's incredible how an anxiety sufferer needs to have worry in their lives because it makes them feel safe and to some degree protected from anything that could go wrong in the future, externally or internally. Now again, understand that this habit is coming from a protective measure. And as you can see, worry being a companion, right? Kind of when you look at it from the outside, you're going, well, that's ridiculous, right? Because there is, in this present moment, there's absolutely nothing to logically and rationally worry about. And yes, I may have had some roadblocks in the past, but that doesn't mean that I need to continue living my life looking to protect from something that could go wrong on the outside with other people in certain environments, or on the inside in terms of what it is I'm feeling, the sensations and the thought patterns. So it's very important that you understand that worry is a habit, is a pattern. It's not a companion as much as it may feel like it is, as much as it may feel like it's a part of your identity. Fifth thing that anxiety makes us do, and this is huge, it provokes guilt. It provokes guilt. Oh, I feel so guilty over this feeling. I feel so guilty that I'm not a part of my children's life the way I want to, my husband, my spouse. I feel so guilty that I can't work the amount of hours that I need to provide financially for my family, to be there for my friends. Guilt over guilt over guilt. This is what anxiety makes us do, which is, and this is very important, guilt, which is the undercurrent for many of the mental disorders and even physical challenges that people experience today. Guilt is the undercurrent that is often the root cause of these disorders and physical challenges, my friends. However, when the guilt shows up, alongside that guilt can also be a friend, can also be an unconditionally loving part of you, to say to that guilt, you know what? There's a very good chance that we've taken on this guilt consciously and unconsciously, mirroring our authority figures, our parents from the past, even our best friends and teachers. We have taken on the energy of guilt. And therefore, guilt, and you can talk to your parts this way, I want you to understand that this is a pattern, this is a habit, this is not who we are. Guilt is allowed to show up, but it's very important that you don't continue to feed into the guilt in any which way, mentally or behaviorally, my friends, or verbally with other people. Okay, so this is what anxiety makes you do. And number 6, this is huge towards your future. It denies your creativity and intuition. You notice that you're always in protective mode, but never in creative mode. You're always waiting for the day where you start to feel better in order to take on some creative acts. Then I'm going to write that book. Then I'm going to go dance. Then I'm going to sing. Then I'm going to open myself up to the world to see who I truly am deep down. And even though I'm not verbally communicating with these people, I am shining my light into the world in a very light and divine way. That's a more than anxiety moment right there. So as long as you can see that anxiety is the part of you that is denying your creativity and your intuition, you can begin to see it for what it is. An overprotective parent times 10,000. This anxiety loves you so unconditionally that it keeps going out of its way over and over and over again to keep you safe, to keep you protected, because it's never been guided before. I always tell this to people going through my programs. I tell them that when anxiety or the elements of anxiety show up, those elements, the symptoms, the ideas, the images, this, that, the feelings, they are not there to guide you. Those elements of anxiety are looking to be guided by your conscious side, guided by your new vivid imagery of the future, guided by your newfound identity, my friends. Now, here's what's important. I want you to comment below and let me know what your more than anxiety moment was from this video. Because starting today, we are going to begin separating from these things, recognizing that they are part of patterns and habits coming from anxiety, but they are not who we are, our identity, because love has always been within us. Healing has always been within us. Cooperation has always been within us. Courage has always been within us. Freedom has always been within us. So in truth, there's nothing that we're moving towards because everything that we truly want is within. And when we take time to slow down, when we take time to find inner peace, when we take time to act in line with who we truly are within, that's when we can truly start to tap in to that healing energy that resides within us and has resided within us this whole time, my friends. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Never forget that you are more than anxiety. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, head over here and let's begin this journey together. Bye-bye, friends.